One, one, one. Okay, cool, it worked. Welcome to Spoilers Ahead. I'm Adam, and we have Josie instead of Peter this week.
Sorry, guys.
Well, no, that's Peter. Peter's on vacation. Because I don't know, he decided to take like 2 weeks off and a month and a half off. So, uh, here we are. Yeah, so we did X-Men Apocalypse this week. We did record a pre-part, but through a series of technical issues, including me forgetting my laptop charger, and me spending an hour and a half trying to fix my computer after God knows what happened to it, here we are. But as you might be able to tell, the audio quality should be better.
Well, they won't be able to tell because you're not going to release the first pre-part.
No, I mean better than previous episodes.
Oh, okay.
No. The free part, I deleted that already because that came out so bad because there was a reverb to my voice.
I'm like, no.
There was a weird reverb to my voice the whole time because I had it like
No, I
picking
heard
up
it
off of
too.
what?
And I said, I know. Yeah, I heard it too. It was
Oh yeah,
awful.
it was really bad yesterday. So we've let's fix it now. But here we are, a day late. Shouldn't matter too much because this isn't exactly a movie that's gaining as much traction as I thought it would. Let's see. So let's talk about what we thought going into the movie. What were you expecting from this going in?
I expected it to be horrible.
Okay. It did not get well received in the mid 50s, low 40s on Metacritic and Rotten Tomatoes. I don't know the exact numbers. Um, and that just
We were
mixed review.
expecting it to be better than the first one, maybe.
I was expect when they announced that they were doing Apocalypse, I thought it was a bad idea. Um, because of what they do in First Class and Days of Future Past. Um, because I just watched First Class. I literally just finished watching it because we're gonna do 30-minute reviews immediately after this. So I just finished watching First Class, and what they seem to build on in the new timeline is the relationship between Eric and Professor X, and how that develops over the course of the franchise. Now, what was I gonna say? They don't exactly do a good job of using Apocalypse to round out a trilogy about that. Because what happened, like if you watch First Class is like a prequel origin movie that should just stand alone
Mm-hmm.
because of the way it ends with Magneto getting the red suit. It ends with Xavier going into the wheelchair, and there's nothing big and glaring that would alter the timeline in any way from that movie. There are a few inconsistencies in the plot, like having Hank McCoy build Cerebro, and we'll talk more about how great of a movie First Class is in the next in 30-minute reviews. But we that's not the point of what we're going to talk about here. Um, Days of Future Past expands on the relationship between Xavier and Eric, with talking about what happened after Magneto killed JFK, and they break him out, and we see like that Vietnam took a toll on Charles because all the kids were dragged away to war. Meanwhile, Eric was just put in prison because he killed JFK and he wasn't there for him. There's a lot of gay subtext in these movies. I don't know if anyone really picked that up or if we're the only ones to pick that up. There's
Well, I
a
mean,
lot of gay
except for the
subtext.
last one that just came out,
No,
because
nope. There was definitely gay. We'll get to the spoiler part that I think proves the gay
well,
subtext.
it would have to be by subtext, right?
What?
Because there's a whole. Wouldn't it have to be by then? Because there's this whole plot about how the fact that he is married and such, and then
Yeah,
what's
but
his face is totally digging on that chick, which is super fucking creepy to think that Charles Xavier would be that creepy to a girl.
well, yeah, I don't know. It's weird. We'll talk more about that. We're just gonna we're gonna do pre thoughts now as best we can, considering we've seen the movie already. Um, but yeah, so there's a big gay subtext between them through the entire movie.
Not
Franchise up
that
until this
there's an
point.
issue with that.
No, there isn't. I like the relationship between them. By the way, I want to put that out there. I like this. I like this more than people who think Bucky Barnes should be in a relationship with Steve Rogers,
Steve Rogers.
Captain America.
Oh,
You didn't know Winter Soldier Captain America was a popular ship, as the kids call it these days, the youths, if you will.
what did you just say?
The youths. You've never heard that before?
The youths?
Yep.
No, I didn't. Apparently,
You've heard of the term
the
you
youths
you've heard of the term ship though, right?
shipped.
Yeah, shipping.
Like, like, like that's how I get things from Amazon.
Right. Okay. Shipping is is a term used in the fan community for any given TV show regarding a romantic pairing between two characters.
Okay.
That's the term. So like the ship with Steve and Bucky is one that a lot of people agree with. Um, Meanwhile, it's like other common ones are like Spock and Kirk, obviously Charles Xavier and
So like
Magneto.
bromances?
No, 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 like actual full-on romantic pairings. Like there are straight ones too. Like on The Office, Jim and Pam count as a romantic ship too, because it's just a romantic pairing of two characters. But then like there's also really weird ones like Anna and Elsa from Frozen is a romantic pairing that's pretty popular.
They're sisters.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
that's another common one in that community. So with this, a common one is what's it called? Is Magneto and Professor X, and the movie lends itself to promote that more. But that's not what we were talking about. We got off on a tangent. This movie should have been the formation of the Brotherhood of Mutants. That's where they should have put this movie. You still use this movie to introduce Jean Grey, Storm, and all that, but you use this as the introduction of the Brotherhood of Mutants, where Mystique finally goes into defects and fully joins with um, Magneto, and then you get like everyone's there, and that's what this movie should have been, not Apocalypse.
Yeah.
Um, but we also talked about the structure of the movie going into it, and I was right, by the way. It's a shame that we couldn't put that in, because I was absolutely right about the structure of this movie being an issue. Um, let's just review the movie, and then we'll talk about that in the spoiler part. Um, because this is a major release, and people are going to listen to this before seeing the movie, possibly. We're gonna do what we did for Batman v Superman, and also for Captain America. We're gonna do a quick non-spoiler review, and then a full spoiler review where we talk about other things from the movie too. So, do you have any quick thoughts on Apocalypse as you saw it? Like, what do you think of the story? What do you think of the
Isn't spoiling it?
without spoiling?
How do you do that?
Like, okay, so say Peter hasn't seen it yet. Peter says, "What did you think of X Men Apocalypse?" What did you tell him?
It wasn't as good as it could have been.
Hmm.
I think that it had the potential to be a decent X-Men movie. I know that you have an issue with the fact that every recent superhero movie has like changed superhero movies.
No, no, no. I don't have an issue with that. We'll get to that
No,
after. That's not the
and that's not what I'm talking about.
okay.
Shut.
Fine,
And the
fine.
fact that this one wasn't going to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah. Let me finish my fucking sentence.
Okay.
Anyways, I know that you have an issue with that whole thing, but I don't. I was looking forward to like a good old-fashioned X-Men movie because I love the X-Men. I love the way that they're done. I don't care. They're my favorite. I like them. They're not my favorite, but they're some of my favorites. And I don't know. It just didn't live up to what it could have been. Like when we get into the spoiler section, I'll tell you
Yeah.
about how it could have
Right.
been better and could have
Um.
been actually a decent X-Men movie.
Right.
Because I thought that I would hate that they were, older or whatever, and I don't know, and that I would find it unrealistic the fact that they didn't look like they aged, but I didn't. I didn't really care. Um, and then, yeah, that's pretty much it, I
I
guess.
mean, my thing with this movie is, if you when you watch it, it's gonna be. It feels like they were digging for gold, but then stopped that half inch away from finding it, and just gave up. because they all the ingredients are there for this to be a good movie. Like
That's and
everything's
they needed like those extra things, or they just needed something.
right. Um, so yeah, like what? But they don't spend enough time developing the new characters, and they introduce a lot. I have issue with the casting of a few characters, and we'll get into that in the spoiler part. And actually, we could do that now because it's not gonna spoil anything.
I know that you hate what's her face.
It's not that I hate Sophie Turner, and I was pleasantly
Not her,
surprised
not
by her
her,
accent.
the other one. The other one.
Jennifer Lawrence.
Thank you.
Nothing we can do about
Um,
that at this point. They at
no,
this point, you have her into a contract. You got to use her. What are you gonna do?
I didn't have an issue with her so much,
No, that was the other thing. I was surprised with this
but
movie.
yeah, the only thing that I have an issue with is that at this point she's really becoming Mystique, and
Right.
she's talking too much.
I think the
Like
other.
Mystique doesn't talk unless
Right.
she's being somebody else.
Well, no. Okay, let's do one other thing. We go based on the movies and the movie continuity.
Right.
We've addressed this in 30-minute reviews. We haven't really addressed this on this show ever. We don't look to the comics for character inspiration.
Okay.
Like if they do something from the comics that makes me happy, like they did in Civil War, like when they did Giant Man, when they did with that scene at the end when they blast when Iron Man blasts the shield, and
Mhm.
like that was really like fucking awesome. But like that's one thing. If we don't take off points for the portrayal being different though.
Okay.
When I see Suicide Squad, I'm not gonna
Right.
take off points for Jared Leto not being similar to the Joker, as I won't in the comics, as I won't take off points from being different from Jared Leto or Cesar Romero or Jack Nicholson, because with comic book movies, these movie universes are independent from the comics. So like for example with Marvel, when you look at the Ultimate Universe, which just ended, and 616, which also just ended, and you look at the characters there, the characters have the same name and title, but the characterization is totally different.
Mhm.
Like Steve Rogers is more radically right wing in the Ultimate Universe than he is in the 616. So I'm
Mhm.
not. We don't take off points for characters being different from the comics. However, being different from characterization in the movies that already came out is a negative.
Right.
So yeah, you can continue what you thought.
Okay. Something about Mystique, right?
Yeah, you were talking about
That's
Mystique.
where I was. Um, yes, I think she talks too much because Mystique doesn't talk very much in the old X-Men.
Now,
And
um,
now, like, I get that she was talking a lot in the previous ones, you know, because
she's the bad guy
she
in
wasn't
Days of Future Past.
right, but um, she wasn't Mystique yet. Like she
Right.
was, she got the name,
Because
but
that was the plot of the movie. Was are
she
you my Raven or are you Charles's Mystique?
right. And now she's become Mystique. Like she's embraced that. They've shown that she's embraced that, but she's still talking too much. Like she's acting like a fucking badass walking around, like
Right.
trying to train the X-Men. Like it should have been a very minimal, like just do what I say.
Exactly. Yes.
That's
Um.
it. Just keep it that way and like be the stone cold Mystique that you're supposed to be. And uh,
Right.
I don't know. She like ruined Mystique at that point. I don't know.
Now, I think the other problem is how much of it she spends not in disguise, but not as Mystique.
Um, but
Because
I
we
get
only
it.
ever saw
I
Rebecca Romaine.
you see the are we in spoilers yet?
No.
I don't know if I'm allowed to say what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say it anyways.
Good.
Um, I mean, we see the struggle that she has with coming to terms with the fact that, you know, you the whole thing throughout the movie with her is that she's struggling whether she wants to be what's her name? Raven?
Raven.
Raven or Mystique.
Right.
And at the end, Mystique wins out
Yeah.
And
It's a similar struggle we've seen in the previous two movies, which proves that every 10 years her character development just resets, so we have another movie of this stupidity. Because
I'm
every movie we get that, like, okay, First Class ends, and she has joined the first iteration of the Brotherhood of Mutants with what's his name,
Magneto.
Magneto. So she is full on Mystique at that point.
But
Uh,
is she? Because she
yeah,
flips.
no, because at that point she stopped disguising herself. She stopped even wearing clothing. She's just doing what Mystique was in X Men to X3. She's
Hmm.
just the blue amphibian who just does whatever she wants.
Hmm.
Then in what's it called? Then Days of Future Past happens, and she's back to being insecure about being Mystique, which I will accept that I will accept the explanation that after Eric left, she lost her confidence to do that.
Hmm.
So I'm okay if you want to like explain it that way. Not that it's a good
Like
explanation, but
when you're saying that she's flip flopped one too many times.
right. And then at the end of this movie, she's accepted even without having to have Eric there to back her up. She doesn't need to be ashamed of who she is. Now
So
she's
maybe
flipped back again
okay.
to being insecure about being Mystique, but this
No, she
time
hasn't.
without
I mean, at
reason.
the end of this, she is Mystique, and she's
Right.
just not being Mystique.
Exactly.
Like not the way the Mystique's supposed to be.
Like the issue is, I think, and part of the thing is they cast Jennifer Lawrence to do this as she was getting popular. So they got her right after her first Academy Award nomination with Winter's Bone. Then they got her what's it called? It she was also in the Hunger Games at the time, the same year First Class or the year after First Class came out. Um, so that's what the problem is now that they renegotiate her contract to give her more screen time, more talking, and stuff like that. Because if you're going to have Jennifer Lawrence in the movie, you're going to utilize her to the fullest. My casting issue doesn't come from that though. My casting issue comes from um, what's it called? Uh, what was I gonna say? Um, them not casting new people you've never heard of in every role, and the roles that you do have new people in, you're underutilizing them.
What do you mean?
So people you've never heard of before. Have you ever seen the actress who played Jubilee?
No, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about specifically to this movie.
Oh no! I know. That's what I'm doing. I'm talking about too. Like with this movie is the last one, and it's a springboard into the next generation of X-Men movies. Think of it like Star Wars trilogies.
I know, but you said that you were bummed out that they didn't pick.
They didn't cast everyone in the key roles as new people.
Okay.
Because like okay, so Jubilee, you saw Jubilee in this movie, the little Asian girl.
Okay, yeah.
Have you ever seen her in anything else?
No,
Do you know why?
because she hasn't been in anything else.
It's her literal first acting role,
Okay.
and she was pretty good. Like she didn't have to do much, but what she did have to do, she did well. Um, so she's there. The kid who played Cyclops, did very well too. Much better than James Marsden in the original, in my opinion.
Okay.
Did you like the kid better than the original Cyclops, or did you like the original Cyclops better
I don't like Cyclops.
at all?
I thought the kid was annoying, and I thought that what's his face
James
kind of a
Marsden, who played him in the original
was
trilogy.
kind yeah.
But what's it called?
Oh, can we go into spoilers because I have a funny thing about him.
Let's give ratings for what would you rate the movie, and then we'll go into spoilers.
Um,
I'll give it a six.
maybe like a five.
I'd give it a six, maybe five and
Because
a
I
half.
was
I'll be nice. I'll give it a six.
although I didn't, I anticipated it to bomb. It was better than I thought, but it still wasn't as good as it could have been. I thought it did have the potential to be good, but this wasn't. It didn't have enough.
Ultimately, for me, the problem with the movie comes down to there's no middle of the movie. Too much time is spent building up Apocalypse and his horsemen, and then it goes right from there to the climax of the movie, which takes too long.
Okay.
So
So,
that
about to get into spoilers now.
yeah, we're if you don't want to listen to spoilers anymore, you can cut out here. From here on, we'll be spoiling the movie. So if you haven't seen it yet, or you don't want to listen to it for some reason, cut
Well,
out
we
here.
won't be spoiling the end quite yet.
No, we're not going to spoil that
We're
immediately,
not gonna go
but
too
from here on,
crazy.
everything we say from here on can
Say
be considered a
this is
spoiler.
how so and so dies, you know.
Right. But
But
from here on, we'll talk about spoilers. So if you like, don't get mad at us when you get spoiled from here on out. Um, so yeah, what do you want to talk about?
so um, I told you my thing with Mystique that I think she just isn't playing Mystique the way Mystique is supposed to be done. Like where she ruined Mystique at the end. Like she was talking too fucking much. Um, and then the redheaded girl, Jean.
Yeah.
Yeah, her American accent kind of does suck.
It wasn't that bad. I thought it was gonna be a lot worse. The trailer made it seem a lot worse, but
It was really bad in the beginning, and then it was almost like as it went on, it was better,
or you
or
just
maybe
got used
got
to it.
used to it.
That's what I'm thinking. It's just like oh, okay, this is just shitty, and we'll just deal with it from there.
Yeah.
Um,
Um.
but like, what's the other thing?
So I do like that they have that whole thing with her powers and stuff, and that she's the only one that can defeat him. But they should have made it so that way she was the only one that could defeat him. She
I
didn't
thought
need
we weren't
help.
spoiling the ending immediately.
I I'm not. I didn't say
Let's talk about the ending because the ending for me is one of the biggest issues with this movie.
I'm talking about Jean. Anyways, I think that her character, that whole thing could have meant a lot more if they had done more with her and not so much with fucking Cyclops. What kind of role did he play? He didn't do jack shit the entire fucking time.
So he shot lasers
You
at
know?
stuff.
I know, but like they made the beginning and most of it like he was the main little character, you know?
Hmm.
And he didn't do anything. You know, if he was going to be the person to defeat the guy, great. You know, awesome. That's the way it should have been. They should have done way more with Jean Grey if she was gonna be, you know, the one.
Here's the thing.
And like more development of how, like, we have one little glimpse and her just saying a couple times that she can't control her powers. Like, there should have been more build up to that whole thing.
They're inevitably going to do a Dark Phoenix movie to right the wrongs of X-Men: The Last Stand. So that I see them saving Jean Grey's origin to that. This movie is the origin for Storm and for Cyclops, more so than anyone else.
I know, but then they should have played a bigger role in it and they shouldn't have made her such an important part of the end.
I'm gonna talk about the ending. I can't really talk about Jean Grey, but I'm talking about the ending. Um, they shouldn't have done Phoenix Force at all in this movie. At all.
Um,
That was
I,
a bad idea.
unless they were going to do more with her.
No, not even
Why?
because
Because it was a burst of uncontrolled power. And then she shouldn't have been able to come back from it. I mean, like even as an adult, she wasn't able to come back from it. Like she could have been there, like tearing down the whole fucking world, and then Xavier reaches up and is just like, "Gee, no."
I think what they should have done is the problem with using the Phoenix Force here is um, we'll talk about my question I asked you this morning. Is it a Deus Ex Machina if they introduce the concept in a movie that's been retconned out of existence? Because in this movie, we if you're watching this movie now, you're to assume that people who are doing this have not seen X-Men 3 because you told people this movie is now irrelevant after you released the last one and said X-Men 3 and X-Men Origins Wolverine are now retconned out of existence. Which makes
Mm.
no sense because X-Men Origins Wolverine takes place before First Class. But that's neither here nor there. Um, but the if you're gonna get rid of just X-Men 3 and go through all that, which I don't think you can even do that after this movie, you have to say that all of it's thrown out, all of the first three. Because why would you keep any of them in? Because now it's a huge glaring thing that no one acknowledges The fact that they fought an Egyptian god.
Okay.
And they also shit all over X-Men 2 with having Wolverine escape from the Weapon X facility. Because we see him escape from the Weapon X facility I think he escapes just prior to the opening of X-Men. And
Does
that's where
he?
we see him. I think so.
Oh no, no, we don't watch his escape.
No,
We
no, no.
watch we watch him running through the forest.
No, but I think okay, but it's implied that's right after his escape. That takes place in the not too distant future from 2000, so like 2002 or so.
Oh fuck. That's
Exactly.
right, because he got no it doesn't. No it doesn't. Because he escapes.
Okay.
He escapes and then um he's
For
out in
20 years, he's wandering around the forest.
no, no, no. Remember? Fuck, what's her name? The one with the
Rogue.
stripe. Rogue. She finds him and he's like this isn't the one where he's a lumberjack. He's like fighting and he's in some bar
Right, he's
and
in a
shit.
fight club.
Like
Okay.
he's been dinking around for a while.
So for 20 years, he was just fucking around in
Why not? He's
Canada?
immortal.
That's
He can do
dumb.
whatever he wants.
That's dumb.
And they weren't in Canada.
They were.
No, he was in Canada in the X-Men Origin when he
No,
was a
no,
lumber.
no, no. He was in Canada in X-Men 1 because Rogue is from Canada.
Rogue's not from
She is.
Canada. Is she?
Mm-hmm. That opening sequence takes place in Saskatchewan.
Okay.
But
So maybe that's where he runs away to because he likes Canada.
he is Canadian too.
Yeah. Maybe that's where he naturally goes to.
I don't know.
I don't fucking know.
I don't know. I still feel like having this happen in the 80s shits on something in the established canon. If someone can tweet at me, at Adam Taylor 792, if this shits on anything, or if not, that'd be greatly appreciated because
I
I'm
just told you it doesn't.
no, but I want someone who has watched all the movies in the last like week. I haven't done that. And I don't think you have either.
No, I haven't.
Okay, so if someone can point out to me where this retcons something from X-Men or X-Men 2, point it out to me, please. Other than it's setting up X-23 to happen early. Did you catch where it's what that was?
What was?
The X-23 setup? Did you catch that at the end? Oh, did you see the post-credit scene?
No, I didn't. We stayed until the first bit of credits were done, and then I was like, oh, okay, nothing's happening. So I didn't stay to all the
The
way.
X-Men movies have them at the very end of the credits. So like
Oh.
the Wolverine had one where he comes back and he's going through the metal detector, and what's it called? Professor X and Magneto are like, so Sentinels are coming. You gotta deal with this now.
Oh, no, I didn't see it.
Oh,
Um, I have to say though, I absolutely love the kid that plays Quicksilver.
yeah.
And I love him as Quicksilver, and I want him and Deadpool to be in a movie together.
I think what's it called? Um, I don't think doing Sophie Turner was a good idea. Not anything against her and her awful English American accent. They should have done what they called instead. Anyone else or any no-name actress,
Anyone else?
like a no-name actress. I mean, because we don't need to have someone who's already a big name. Because you knew who she was prior to this movie.
Yeah, well, that's from Game of Thrones.
Exactly. She's way too big to be doing this long term.
Why?
Because
That's all she does is Game of Thrones. I don't think she's in anything else.
because she's tied up in a television show and a movie now. I
So?
don't know. I feel like you could going with a nobody. You can sign on for a 9 movie contract would have been a better idea.
Maybe she's already all signed up for a 9 movie contract.
I could see her doing 3 at most, 3 or 4 at most.
Why are you doing 9 movies?
That's what Sebastian Stan signed on for. The Winter Soldier. He signed on for 9.
Holy shit!
Yeah.
What are they gonna do? Have them making movies when they're 50 and dying?
Well, he's got 3 down now.
I know I just said
Possibly,
50 and dying. Sorry to anybody who's
we don't
listening
have
that.
any people in that demographic, as far as I
Okay.
know. My dad listens, so we do have someone in that demographic. Um,
I don't mean it. I just mean you don't look as young as us. Anyways,
that you've insulted everyone.
you
Is
know
there any
what?
racially charged comment you want to make while you're at it, or
No,
anything against
I
gays or
made
anything
my
else?
comments earlier
Okay, so
that you called racist.
yeah, so
God.
um, what's it called? Uh, what were we talking about? Oh, casting. I think they should have done that because if you want to build this into a franchise, especially if you're gonna have Jean Grey and Cyclops, who are major characters, you got
But
to do that.
how many movies do you need?
In the current market, you want to ride the bubble until it bursts.
It's gonna burst in 3 to 4 movies. That's what happened with the first ones.
No, 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 no. The superhero bubble that exists.
Um,
This is now the 4th superhero movie we reviewed this year. We've done Deadpool, we've done Batman v Superman, we've done Civil War, and now we're on Apocalypse. We still
I
have
feel like that's
Suicide Squad, and we
decade.
have Doctor Strange.
I feel like the decade right now is like gonna be known as the superhero decade.
Not even. The next Avengers movie is 2019 and 2020. So it should be going on even further than that. And
Oh,
this
but I
started in
thought
the mid
by that
2000s.
time it's gonna be where like it's gonna be like disco in the 80s.
And then I don't think so because think about it. The like what the movie we watched today, the first movie in this series came out in the year 2000.
Hmm.
The first X-Men movie came out in 2000. X2, The Last Stand.
They were really the only ones around at that point. You know,
Uh,
like how many other superhero movies were going on except for like the occasional Superman movie and the occasional Batman movie, right?
do you really want me to go into this? So you have the 3 X-Men movies,
Hmm.
the 3 Spider-Man movies.
Which all sucked.
Okay, that's wrong. We'll get into that another time though. We have so 3, that's 6. Then we have Spider-Man, Superman Returns, the Dark Knight trilogy. So now we're at 10. Both Fantastic Fours, Daredevil, Green Hornet, um, plus Iron Man, Incredible Hulk, and Iron Man 2 all came out in the late 2000s.
Yeah, but I'm talking early 2000s. So,
So early 2000s would be up to 2005. So you still have Daredevil, Fantastic Four, um, X Men, X2, Spider Man, and I think Spider Man 2 as well. Correct me on that if I'm wrong, someone. Um,
well, so what do you think about Quicksilver? Did you like him? Or
I
did you
did
just
like Quicksilver. I didn't like this Quicksilver sequence as much as the first one.
really? I loved it. I think he's awesome. I think he's hilarious. I don't think that he could stand up in his own movie, but that's why I want him, I don't know, like to show up in other movies. And I liked how he had his own scene. And there was that little backdrop of, yeah, he's my dad, maybe I'll tell him. But he's not like being a whiny bitch about it, which is awesome. Because they're always whiny bitches about that kind of shit. And then I liked him a lot.
I think you could have done without the sequence at the X Mansion, and just done the
I
sequence
think
of
it
him
was just a
kicking,
little too long.
just him
I
kicking the
feel like,
shit out of Apocalypse would have been fine for me. That was very satisfying to watch.
um, I liked the idea
When it,
of the thing at the mansion, but I think that it didn't need to be
well,
so long. Yeah, like they could have just had the scene where, the basement blows up and everybody else is able to run out in time, you
right.
know, and then, that's he feels all guilty because he didn't get the brother or whatever, and then it's done.
I still think, I do think Phoenix Force should not have been introduced here. Also, Weapon X, completely negligible to the plot.
Weapon X?
When they are okay, so after the X Mansion blows up, They're
Uh-huh.
taken. They're taken to
Oh,
the.
you mean Wolverine.
Yeah,
Okay. I don't think it was needed, but it was kind of cool.
like here's the thing.
Because how else were they going to do everything?
Here's the thing this movie does, and it's ultimately why I dislike this movie. It made me want other movies. Because that scene of Wolverine just going through and mowing people down, like, I'm like, okay, I am amped for the R-rated Wolverine movie next year.
Yeah.
Like, that's what that did for me. Like, all the flashbacks they had to First Class made me want to go and watch First Class again, because that's a good movie. This movie doesn't have that.
Yeah. Um, I think that to make the movie better in the way that I thought, would make sense for Jean Grey to have her big old scene at the end. Um, and at that point, they should have been like trying to control their powers or whatever.
Mhm.
You know, they could have been, she could be like testing them out and shit. And then all of a sudden bursting, like accidentally bursting somebody's fucking head.
Right.
Like that kind of shit. Like showing that she has power and like massive amounts of it, besides the fact that she can make paint boil on the wall.
I mean, I think that's the closest thing we get to a setup that she is Phoenix. The problem is
Right,
they
but
don't.
it was just, I don't know, it wasn't enough. That's why
Exactly.
they used that scene to, like I had some comic relief of the fact that, she blew somebody's fucking head up or
That's not
something.
comic relief.
It is if you do it right.
No. Was
Anyways,
it comic relief when they did that in what's it called? Uh Fantastic Four?
I don't know. I
And
don't
that's
remember.
the other problem with Apocalypse being the way he was. Early on they show him to be near omnipotent and like he
Hmm.
can do like whatever the hell he wants, but
Which
then
is
he
why it makes sense that she's the only one that can take him down, but I don't think that they should have made it like a together thing.
I think it should have been just a together thing.
I don't.
Because like having
No,
Storm
the fact
turn
that
on him.
she could dissolve a city.
Yeah, but I still think it should have been. It shouldn't have been Jean at all. I think Jean should have just been like Jean is negligible to the plot of this movie even until she's needed at the end to save the day.
Okay, so I think it could have gone either way with the way I think with Jean, or you know, having them all together and her not doing shit except for saving what's his face.
Cause like here's the thing, the movie plays up the fact that he thinks he's a god, and like even in the opening sequence we have Xavier talking to us, and he says like if you tell him the powers give different people different things different people. Some do this, some do that. Some are omnipotent and then think they're gods.
Hmm.
Um, like that would have been good if he thought he was a god, and it would have been a good moment of not irony, but there's
You're
another
not
word I'm
really
looking.
a god. So they needed to do a little bit more with why these people are fucking following him.
The
Because I
only
think
character we have, the only
he's
one we have.
to destroy the world, and I mean, did he just find people that are just as evil as him?
No, because Storm isn't a
Or
bad
but
guy.
because it looks like he's just finding people that are strong and he's like, "Hey, join me. I want to destroy the world." And they're like, "Yeah, cool. Let's do it." You know?
See, and that was
So
the thing with that
what
was
is
like at least Ultron had like Ultron was not well developed as a villain, but at least he got Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver to follow him, and then he there was a reason why they followed him, and it was because they wanted to take down the Avengers. You don't ever
exactly.
have a clear reason except for Magneto, who is really, really annoyed at humanity because his daughter and wife were killed.
So I absolutely get the fact that they're trying to show that this guy is so powerful and he's very good at manipulating them, like because of his power, that's easy to follow. People like that. And, you know, the fact that he's like giving gifts and making them better and is supposed to be, I don't know, I don't know what the word is that I'm looking for. Um, But anyways, then they needed to do more with that to show that that's why they're following him is because they believe that he's good and that, they want to be loyal to him because he's doing all these great things for them, you know. But
Mhm.
they weren't. They didn't show anything like that. And I think that's the gist of like what they were trying to show us, you
Mhm.
know? Because he keeps like giving them shit and giving them presents and praise and all that.
You know why
Uh,
Havoc died, right?
huh?
This just dawned on me. You know why Havoc died in this movie? Like, of all the characters to be cannon fodder, why Havoc?
Who's Havoc?
The guy who died, the one guy who died.
Oh, okay. I don't know. And isn't that supposed to be like the governor's son or whatever?
I think it's Scott Summers' it's Cyclops' brother. He died because he's the only remaining character from First
No, because
Class.
with the bird wings died.
Birdwings?
Bird wings.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, Angel died too. Ah, well, who cares? Angel was a sack of shit anyway. Um,
You're talking about.
what?
So I thought that's.
Archangel. Archangel. It's different.
So why was Scott Summers the only one that dies?
Not Scott. His brother. Scott's Cyclops.
Oh, sorry.
I don't know his name. But the only reason he died is because he was the only remaining member of the cast of First Class who wasn't introduced in a movie by what's it called? Um, by Bryan Singer,
Who's Brian Singer?
the director.
Oh, okay.
Like he introduced Professor X and what's it called? Um, Professor X and Magneto, but then the entire rest of the cast of mutants were killed off screen, except for Havoc, who was killed on screen here, and Darwin, who died in the movie.
Okay.
But like that's what it comes down to for why he had to die. Um, but yeah, there was one other thing that really bugged me about this movie. The length, the runtime. It did not have to be. There was no middle of this movie.
So you wanted it longer?
No, I wanted it shorter. Because if you cut out the Weapon X proceedings when they go in, then the movie would have been cut down in runtime, and it would have been more obvious that it's missing a middle of the movie.
Okay.
Because we spend the first half of the movie is assembling the like X-Men for this movie and the Horsemen.
Mhm.
Then it's basically here's what the movie is: setting the stage for the fight. And I know every movie is this. Yeah, everything is. But this one, obviously, more so than anything else, is setting the stage for the what's it called? For the main fight with all the characters and putting them all in place. Then what's it called? Uh, Once the fight happens, everyone getting back into place where they can move on to the next movie.
Mhm.
Where it's kind of like they said, okay, we're done with this one. Everyone places for the next scene, and then it's like everyone's just going off into their own special spot to get it ready for the next one.
Okay.
And Magneto should not have come off as unscathed as he did from this movie.
Well, he didn't. He left.
No, unscathed. I mean, like he had no negative repercussion for what he did, and he's just like, okay,
That's because of their bromance.
okay, let's talk about the gay real quick. We did not do that yet, and I said we would talk about the gay, um, because it was big and glaring here. Um, by the way, what's it called? He does know that Quicksilver's his son
How does he know?
because they had the realization in Days of Future Past in the elevator. Remember?
No.
It's like he brings him into the elevator and they're on the way up, and he goes, my mom knew a guy who could move metal, and then it clicks for him and for Magneto
Mhm.
in that scene. So Magneto does know, but it's a matter of what's it called? Like, so his son almost dying isn't what snaps him out of destroying the world.
Mhm.
It's threatening the life of his boyfriend, Xavier.
Yeah.
That's why I think it's no longer subtext. And then he hangs around, helps them rebuild the house, and he's like, okay, I'm fucking off to wherever I'm going now.
So you don't think this is a bromance? You think
Nope.
this is the straight
I
up gay?
I think it's straight up gay.
But they're not going to do anything with it.
Nope. I think it's straight up
So then
gay.
it's not.
Nope. But it could be. I honestly think it's straight up gay.
Do you think it would be better if it came out? Or do you think people would be outraged and it would suck and
I think the way they have it now, if they just
because
titled it and kept it the way it is, it'd be fine.
where they're just teasing at it?
Yeah.
Huh. So then it's a bromance.
No.
Because
Because a
bromance,
bromance doesn't have the implication that one of them stuck their dick in the other one.
this doesn't either.
It very much does.
No.
We are not watching the same trilogy then.
Well, like, I don't think it goes as far as they've done it. I think they have feelings for each other and stuff. And bromances can be very. They can get that way.
What else was there? There was a few others. Um, there was one other thing I wanted to bring up with this movie. We talked about the lack of a middle.
I didn't like how easy he was to kill.
Right, that was the other. It was too easy in the end. And so I'll just do post-credit scene and wrap up so we can get 30-minute reviews in tonight as well. Um,
Okay.
so wrapping it up, the post-credit scene was people going into the facility where they were doing the experiments on Wolverine, and they take his blood and they put it into a briefcase marked Essex something. I don't remember what it is. The movie is a very obvious setup for Mr. Sinister, Doctor Sinister, who's an X-Men villain. And that could possibly be the villain in the next movie because the Days of Future Past post-credit scene showed Apocalypse, if you remember.
Nope.
Oh, he telekinetically moves all the. He builds a pyramid telekinetically.
Oh my gosh. Oh, I have two things.
What?
This guy has such a thing with pyramids.
Yeah.
Like he has a boner for pyramids.
Well, he's Egyptian, ancient Egyptian.
He has a boner for pyramids.
Uh huh.
I was like, all this architecture around and you built a fucking pyramid. Okay. Um
Well,
and then
it makes sense from a narrative point as to why he would put a pyramid there, because it's like the pyramids had mazes in them where they hid because they didn't want grave robbers to steal anything. So
yeah.
they would build
And like
mazes into the
shit.
pyramids. So
Uh
when he's trying to do the conversion, it makes sense to have it in the chamber but have a maze to get there. So a pyramid is what he would know to do.
okay. And then I just wanted to point that out was that he's got a major boner for pyramids.
Mhm. And what was the second thing?
Fuck. You interrupted me so I forgot. I know it. Oh, I love the scene. The only thing that I like about the Wolverine scene is that at the moment where like Jean is like with him and stuff, you can see Scott in the background going, "Oh fuck, he's gonna steal my chick."
It's a little creepy if you think about it, because Wolverine in Hugh Jackman's like 50
I,
and
I
she's like 19.
I looked to my dad and I was like, "This is where Scott notices that Wolverine's gonna steal his chick."
Yeah, yeah,
And Scott's over there like, "Ah, oh, fuck. Hope we never see him again."
yeah. That was really funny. And like the Wolverine reveal would have been better if they didn't spoil it in the trailer.
Mm-hmm.
But like that, like I knew it was coming. Cause like they're in there, they show everything, and they open the thing. And I'm like, I know, I'm like, it's fucking Wolverine time. Like it's gonna be awesome. And then they release him, and he's in the full Weapon X, like with the headgear and all that. And I was like, here we go. This is basically, it's not gonna be full Berserk mode. It's gonna be pretty close though. It's probably the closest we're gonna get. And he just goes through and just tears through everyone. and they had to do quick cuts that way there wasn't too much blood or gore. But I'm like, this is what I'm expecting, but cut very well from the next Wolverine movie. So that's what like, and again, I said it before. What this movie's ultimate problem was is it made me want to watch other better movies instead of the one I'm currently watching, which is
Mm.
where this movie failed. And I'm gonna give this a 5.5. Yeah, 5.5. I'm gonna downgrade it to 5.5. And what did you give it?
I gave it a 5
Okay. So let me just bring
because
up.
I was surprised at how it was almost decent. I thought it was
Correct.
really gonna be shitty.
Yeah. Um, Let me just bring up the list again so we can see what the next movie we're gonna do is. Um, you might be here for that if you want to. You are free to if you can coordinate seeing a Thursday night movie again.
Okay,
Um,
I have those days off. And I guess like, which movie is it?
Bring it up now. Let's take a look when it wants to. Please have saved.
Um,
Oh, here it is. Okay.
the other one is fuck, what's it called? Um,
The next movie we're doing is Independence Day Resurgence.
oh, good, because that's the one that my parents wanted to see.
That's
So I
gonna be
can
an
go
awesome
by
movie.
myself.
Um,
Yay!
well,
Yes, I see movies with my parents.
I was disappointed with the when they showed the trailer for Independence Day Resurgence for this one, but they didn't show the one with the speech. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Nope.
The one where they it's overlaying it. They have a audio clip of the president's speech from Independence Day.
I haven't seen the original Independence Day for fucking forever.
Oh, it's an amazing movie. But yeah, that's our next one we're doing for that. If you stay tuned, I'm gonna grab some water, but we're going to go on to do this week's 30-minute reviews immediately after the movie, after this, for Days of Future Past and First Class for X-Men. We're also going to talk about Flash and Legends of Tomorrow, and then next week we have our last one for this season, and we're doing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the 2012 one. Um, and then we're gonna go on to our hiatus ones. We have Space Jam, Finding Nemo, Independence Day, and Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice, the director's cut. And then we'll be back with our regular schedule. So we will be back in about a month with the next movie, or if you listen to all our shows, you will be back. We will be back in about I don't know 5 minutes. Um, or whenever, because we have it on the podcasting app on iTunes and on Spreaker whenever you want to listen to it. If you listen to this but you don't listen to the other ones, we do have other shows. We have 30-minute reviews, also available on iTunes, and we also have unofficial commentary by the Unqualified. I'm only saying that now because I realized the last 2 weeks I haven't been plugging the other shows on this one. We get like 200 listens, so those are the other shows we have. So we will be back starting in about 5 minutes.